Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. When Phineas Merrill created his map of Exeter in 1802, he was careful to label all the buildings and residents in town. Although the Exeter Historical Society is familiar with most of the people he named, one man stumped our research for many years: the mysterious Dr. Windship of Water Street. According to the map, he lived in the house that stood across from the current entrance to Swayze Parkway, but he isn't listed in the U.S. Census of 1800 or 1810. Charles Bell's History of Exeter doesn't mention him as one of the early physicians in the town, and deed research indicates that Dr. Winship never actually owned the house. It belonged to Widow Stacy. Well, so what? Why would anyone care about a guy who rented a house in town over 200 years ago? We never had a genealogist come looking for him, and we didn't even know the man's first name. In the spring of 2005, the Historical Society hired Laura Martin as our new program manager, and she brought with her an almost unnatural interest in Dr. Winship. She quickly discovered, as we had, that there seemed to be no clues. He was just a name on a map. One day, while poking through an old newspaper, I happened on a column called Rockingham's Rambles, which was excerpting the diary of Solon Stevens. Most of it was pretty dull, except March 28, 1804, attended the funeral of my old landlady, Mrs. Windship, who died suddenly in a fit Monday night. Winship, where had I heard that name before? I mentioned the entry to Laura, and it wasn't long before we'd found Mrs. Elizabeth Winship lying peacefully in the old Exeter Cemetery on Winter Street. She was the daughter of Ephraim May of Boston. A quick search of Massachusetts records provided us with her marriage to Dr. Amos Winship in Roxbury in 1784. And Amos Winship turned out to be quite a guy. Variously described as a thief, fraudster, and attempted bigamist, he also served as a surgeon with the American forces during the Revolution at the Battle of Breed's Hill, or Bunker Hill if you're lost in Boston. George Washington even mentions him in a letter to John Hancock, so he was respected by the Americans. He was also admired by the British, because in 1791 he arranged to have the remains of Major John Pitcairn returned to England for interment in the family plot. Pitcairn had fallen during the Battle of Breed's Hill and died shortly thereafter. His grateful family believed that Winship had done them a gracious favor. But there are a number of gaping holes in the story of this respectable war veteran. In Boston's Old North Church lies the crypt of Major John Pitcairn. It seems that Amos Winship had failed to send the correct body, and Bostonians still believe that Pitcairn is in the church basement. There's even a marker on the crypt saying as much. And Winship's family life is a genealogical nightmare. Along with Elizabeth May, he seems to have had overlapping wives at various times, two who appear to have been sisters. This might explain why Elizabeth's grave marker reads, "Erected by her children" in 1809. We can guess he arrived in Exeter sometime around 1802 and left before the 1810 census. But what would have brought this colorful character here? In combing through the available records, we were able to locate two students attending Phillips Exeter Academy during Winship's short stay in town: John Craveth May Winship and Letsome Winship. Perhaps, like so many other families, the Winships have moved to town to take advantage of the education offered by Phillips Exeter Academy. Or maybe Winship was avoiding the anger of two other wives. We may never know. After Elizabeth's death, he married again and moved to Roxbury, where he died in 1813, a remarkable and still somewhat mysterious man who brought his story to Exeter simply by living on Water Street when the map maker came through. For more history of the town of Exeter, New Hampshire, visit our website at www.exeterhistory.org.